Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how I mounted my Motorguide Xi3 bow mounted trolling motor onto my Hoodoo Hero 130 skiff using a Minn Kota quick release metal bracket. That being said, let's go ahead and get started. These are the main parts I'm going to be using in this project. On the left here you have the manual for the Minn Kota quick release bracket. On the right here you have the toggler 1/4 inch snap off toggle bolts, and here's a close-up of one of those pieces, and here's the threaded section for the 1/4 20 bolts. Then you've got the 1/16 inch thickness 1 inch square tubing made out of aluminum for this, and then the end caps that are just going to go ahead and snap right in just to give it a better finished look. I do want to mention something about attaching this trolling motor. This is the attachment pieces that came with the Minn Kota mount. This is low quality zinc covered steel and not stainless like it said in the ad. So I'm going to replace all these with stainless 1/4 20 nuts and bolts. And then the pin that holds in the side to keep it from moving is also low quality steel, so eventually I'm going to swap that out as well. Okay, after splitting apart the Minn Kota mount, I took the top section here and laid the Motorguide trolling motor on top of it. And then I removed the one bolt for each of the side panels here to expose the hole pattern for the attachment. And the Motorguide lines up here, here, and here with the Minn Kota mount. So I'm going to go ahead and bolt this all together. I needed to see if I could use the attachment points for the front handle for this project. So in order to get it off, I looked around and I found out that the centerpiece here is held in by these two clamp type pole kind of like extension pieces. So if you push in here and here on both sides, what happens is this will pop out, and you see, just like when you have an extension pole, it's kind of the same concept, that these things just expand into the holes. So once that's removed, you can see you have your mounts here and here. Now I have to see what I'm dealing with on the inside. After removing the front handle, I found that there's two molded in nuts here with these two screws, which were the same as the others, as the M6x1s. These are some of the issues I had to try and solve in order to mount this trolling motor on the bow. First of all, right in here, both these sections are concave or they curve inward, and then there's a raised spine here that goes all the way through to the back, and this area also is raised up. So if you lay anything across here to here, it doesn't lie flat, and that's a big issue. And then you can't attach anything on either side here, even if you did lay something across that, because of the lip here. If you drilled here, you'd come out the other end because of the shape of the hole. So what I came up with was using the 1 inch square tubing that I can lay across one end to the other at an angle, and that picks up enough of the slop in between for a nice tight fit. So after I laid the bars across the bow of the skiff and put them where I wanted to be, I marked them with the base plate on top of it with a couple lines here, and then I marked forward, and you can't see it, but the back side. And then once I did that, I marked the 4 holes that were already in this and drilled them out here. So I put the bottom plate on top of the two 1 inch square tubing and just put some bolts in there just to hold it in place. And now I know how I'm going to position it once I put the trolling motor on, and I can mark where I'm going to cut the ends to make it just about flush with the sides. This is how I'm going to end up cutting them. As you can see, the leading edge there is almost flush with the side of the hull, so I'm going to leave that one alone. And then around here on the other side, it's a little bit longer, so I'm going to cut it on that line if you can see it. And then coming around the back, I'll cut this one about there, and then this one I will leave alone because it's almost flush, and I have some end caps that I'll put in the end just to keep everything from making any cuts or sharp edges. And then if you go around to the front, I've got enough space in here that I need in order to clear the hull. These are my finished mounting tubes. I've already drilled the holes through there, painted them, and then I put in the square cap ends here just to give them a nicer look. This is the view of the bow after I drilled out the holes and set in the snap toggles. Now, I initially marked the holes where they were going to be using the square tubing with the bottom of the mount on top, and then I went through each one with a screw to make sure it was going to fit correctly, and then drilled my hole for the snap toggle. This is the finished project. I've got 5 attachment points, and those being 1, 2, 3 from the original plate here, and then this one is just attaching it to one of the square tubings, and it doesn't go through to the hull. So I've got the other one here on the hull, and then this other one that I added through the plate on the hull for a nice solid connection. Okay, so I got the Motorguide installed on the Minn Kota mount on the bow of the skiff, and as you can see by angling it off to the side that way, it's going to not interfere with my stand-up casting bar and also allow me to open up the front hatch. And I'm also going to have enough clearance down in here so I don't have to worry about the shaft contacting the hull. So I'll show you a close-up of that. I'm going to give a little better close-up of the trolling motor mounted. As you can see here, everything is going to clear and it's a nice solid connection. And as I go back out, you can see that I've got a nice gap in there between the shaft and the hull. So that's it. If you have any questions, please leave them for me in the comments. Thank you.